What is up, you amazing people? It is Nima here. Today, I want to talk about some of the games I've been playing recently. Now, I have had a lot of personal things going on, and I've just been super busy. And I'm at that point now where I think I can kind of catch up on things, communicate with my friends, start watching some of their videos and commenting and liking and doing all of that stuff for them. I'm just going to say this. If you enjoy free time, if you enjoy the ability to just sit down on your couch and watch a movie, don't have kids, just don't do it. I'm not even joking when I say this. I've been planning to watch Get Smart. Like the Steve Carell Get Smart's like a remake of an old TV show. I've been planning to do that for 3 weeks, and I still haven't watched it because of, little kids. But I will say this, I have been playing some games when I can. And so today, I wanted to talk about the games that I've been playing recently. But before we get into that, please hit that like and subscribe button. It helps the channel grow, and it makes me happy. Anyway, obviously, the thumbnail, I'm being hyperbolic. But I have been playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and yeah, for me, it's the game of the year. Just point blank, it's the game of the year. I have said many games are on my list of game of the year. I've even said, this might be the game, but I've been keeping that close to my vest because the fact is, my game of the year is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And I know that it probably won't get picked for a lot of these things because it came out in late February, but early as far as like the Game Awards is considered. And so a lot of those games just kind of get overlooked. If you come in too early or too late, they don't really recognize you the same. But it's still, like I said, my game of the year, and for so many reasons. I mean, this game, number one, could have just been what they did in the remake, basically followed that tried and true line of just wowing you with all this extra content, all those things that you kind of visualized in your head while playing the first one, and then just expanding upon that and making it as a graphically beautiful game with incredibly fun combat. They could have just done that, but they did more than that. In fact, they added a lot of different little mechanics that really make the game so much more fun. Things like the relationship meter, where they can actually affect like the different cutscenes that happen in the game. There are some actual significant differences that happen based upon how you interact with the other characters in the game. So that's like really cool. Not to mention, they have some of these conversations, some of the things that we remember from the first one, where I specifically remember, especially with Tifa and Cloud, I was like, how are they not talking about this? And I'm not going to ruin anything for anyone. If you know, you know. And I was just like, how can they not have this conversation? And now they're having that conversation. They're having many of these conversations. They're doing so many like deep dives into characters at the same time. The world itself is amazing to explore. I love the combat. I love everything about this game. The only thing I don't really love, and it's what kind of ruins it if you ask me, is the fact that no matter what, you always know this isn't the end. So you can grind and you can do all this work for there to be a third game, and when you get to the third game, most likely they'll dwarf you again. And if you don't know, if you played Remake like I did and you basically raised your character to max level, you collected a bunch of stuff, a bunch of weapons, pretty much made yourself a badass. Well, when you fire up Rebirth, you're back at level 16, and you don't have all that stuff. So I assume that even though I'm going to do that again in Rebirth, I'm still going to then be dwarfed on the third game, but that's fine. Like, I don't really care because, honestly, I'm just enjoying it. And that's, a product of enjoying and exploring the game is the fact that I will grow my character and get a bunch of cool loot. But anyway, yeah, a 10 out of 10 game. It's amazing. I absolutely adore Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm not going to get too deep into these next games because I've actually covered them on the channel, but I've also been playing Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom, and I really do love this game. I understand that I really focused on a lot of the negative when I was talking about it, but I really do enjoy everything about it. For me, it was just some of the story gets kind of slow. One place that I can tell you that happens for me anyway is with the Zoras and the Chiefs, and you have to go back and forth, and then finally the story opens up, but it's kind of, I don't know, for me it was just kind of a slog in that period of time. But further on in the game, it gets really good, and that's where things really pick up, and you seem to really care a lot more. So much of the game, though, is amazing. So, I mean, I know I gave it an 8.5 out of 10, and I kind of criticized it quite a bit. But I think I was more focusing on the criticism because I gave it an 8.5, and I figured people would see I gave it an 8.5, which is a really good score. Let's not pretend that it's not a good score. So I think I really just wanted to break down some of the reasons why it didn't get a 10 or a 9.5 or something that a Zelda game typically does. And that was the reason I kind of went deep dive with that. Another game that I've been playing a lot of too, and I've actually beaten twice, is the Plucky Squire, which is such a good game. Even though it breaks my cardinal rule about games, which is having to fight the same boss a second time, it sort of does that. Not completely, but kind of. There again, if you know, you know. But man, it just so many things about the game. Like after I beat it, I kind of realized that there was a lot of stuff I hadn't unlocked. And so I wanted to go back and unlock some of that and just enjoy the game for what it is. Not like on a time constraint where I had to worry about when I got the review out and all of that stuff. And I can definitely say like the second time over was just a lot better. Yeah, I really enjoyed the game. These two games have had me thinking that I might do like a playthrough or a live stream or something, and maybe do one with commentary, one without commentary. But I've been playing Luigi's Mansion HD 2. And I've been playing Princess Peach. I got both of these games from the library. Actually, they were on sale. They were just like selling them because the cases themselves were destroyed. And I think with Luigi's Mansion HD 2, the label was a little bit messed up. So my library offered to sell them to me. I'm kind of like the video game guy. Like they will get a hold of me sometimes, and if they have problems setting up a console for like Game Room or some of the stuff they do with the kids, they'll ask my help. So they come to me and like said, hey, these two games are kind of destroyed. We've already got replacements coming in. So what would you price them at? And I said, $40 probably. And I meant a piece. They thought I meant both. And then they came back and said, well, how about 15 a piece? Well, yeah, I'll take that all day, every day. Like 15 a piece for some new Nintendo games? Yeah, they're a little bit damaged, but they play just fine. But as I've been playing them, I've been thinking, I should probably do something like a live stream or a walkthrough or something, just with, games like that where they're a little bit shorter and they're a little bit more punchy, and they're kind of fun. I also think that there are probably games that not everybody is wanting to buy, because they are really expensive for what they are. And I gotta tell you, Luigi's Mansion HD 2 is not nearly as cool as Luigi's Mansion 3. If you're gonna spend your money on one of them, spend it on the third one. It runs so much better, it looks a lot better, the mechanics are a lot better. There's just a lot more with Luigi's Mansion 3, but even Princess Peach, it's a fun game, but it's kind of linear. Like it's almost too linear. It's one of those games that if you just want to beat a game, it's a good game to play. But don't get me wrong, if you like it and this is one of your favorite games, like God bless you. Like it's a fun game. Like I appreciate a lot of things about it, but it's just it's more of a novice experience than it is like an advanced or an expert. So yeah, it is what it is, but I've been playing those two games and they're fun. But again, I feel like maybe I should put something up on video playing those games, because it almost feels for naught. I'm not going to review them, it's too late. And while they are fun, I don't actually have a lot of nice things to say about them. Like, they're fine. They're fine games, but it's just the price and so many things about them, I just don't recommend getting at $60. And, if they were $30, or if one was 30 and one was 50, the Princess Peach game, then I might be a little more inclined to give them better reviews, but they're just kind of, ugh. I'll say this, they are great games to pick up on sale. If you could get them 30 to 40% off, and obviously 50%, that's when I would get them, but I wouldn't pay full price. I've also been playing Diablo 4, which I admit, I know, I've always said, like, oh, Blizzard's a horrible company, they've done some horrible things to their people, but unfortunately, I am a Diablo stan, and I always justify my decision by saying, hey, some people really worked hard on this game, and it's not their fault that their company's shit. Like, it's still a really good series, and I still feel the same way. But I will say, I do see some of the holes in the armor. Like, I understand why some people don't like it. It is sort of a grind fest, and the stories themselves are rather predictable. You almost don't even pay attention. In fact, a lot of people don't like the fact that the game doesn't really start till after you beat the game. And that's when you really get into the game, because that's 20, 30 hours in. And that's when you can start working on, like, your real builds, your real equipment, getting through a lot of the seasonal stuff and going further with your rifts and all of that. It's one of those games, it's fun in that light, but I also can understand why some people just don't think it's worth it, because it is a huge time sink. Like, it's a massive time sink, even to the point where I personally do enjoy playing it, but there's many times where I'm like debating, should I play it? Like, nah, I don't have the time. Like, I just don't have the time later on to get into it. I know that it's going to be a game that is going to be 300 to 400 hours of time. And many times I just find myself playing Marvel's Midnight Sun, which, if I'm honest, I am mad that that game did not come out for the Switch. And if you're a Switch owner, you should be mad about that too, because it's such a good game. It got pretty negative reviews, or even worse, people weren't even talking about it, but it's actually a really fun game. It is a strategy RPG with Marvel characters, and there is a bit of a card game mechanic to it, meaning whatever cards you pull or whatever cards you have in hand are the actions and abilities that you can perform during your turn. But if I'm honest, it doesn't feel like a card game. It really just feels like these are your abilities, and you have so many action points or MP or whatever you want to use as a scale, and this is what the moves that are available to you during your turn. That's really how it feels, but I know that they do market as sort of a card game. Again, just doesn't feel like it, but what it is a really fun strategy RPG with a really cool story. Definitely some Marvel stuff that I wasn't aware of, and that could probably fill an entire room with how much Marvel stuff I don't know, but it is cool to see a different side other than the same kind of characters over and over, and like just telling a different story. So I really appreciate that game. It's a lot of fun. I really hope that a lot of Switch users will get a chance to play that game, because I think it would have a new life, especially on a Switch, or I guess even the Switch 2 if that's where it's headed, or if it's even headed there. Unfortunately, we're seeing this time where a lot of games are dying before they get a chance to really be born, and where we can see new life with a different console. This happened a lot with the Switch. We are seeing a time where these games are pretty much just rushed off market as soon as they fail to launch, and I don't think that that's fair, because gaming has never been like movies. The first week of a game's release is never supposed to be like a movie. Us as gamers, number one, we have a lot of games to play. We're also not incredibly rich. I mean, you can go to a movie, and yeah, if you're going by yourself, it's like $20. A game, that's like $60, $70 now. And yeah, that's a lot of money, especially when you have a game, or you have many games that you haven't even beaten yet, and now you're thinking about dropping another $60, $70 just to make your backlog get bigger. I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but this is why I hate corporate America and corporate greed to get mixed in with art. And I know it has to an extent, but this is what happens when there's too much corporatism in our video games. Like, they have these deadlines. They have this amount of money that they need or want to make in a certain amount of time, and if they don't, they just kill the project and move on. But that's not, again, how gaming works. It never has. I don't think that they understand the mechanics of making a game. In fact, if they had their way, every game would probably be Fortnite. But I really do hope that Midnight Suns doesn't get lost before the Switch 2 comes out, or before someone can bring it to a new market and a new audience, if you will. But anyway, that's it for me, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. Hey, let me know what you guys are playing. Tell me in the comment section what games you've been having a lot of fun with lately. Tell me what games you're excited for. Anything and everything, I truly appreciate. I love each and every one of you guys. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. You think I went off on too much of a rant there at the end?